I wanted to do a quick video for you today on recording and mixing vocals for hip-hop or any genre of music. Some of the information is quite basic, so excuse me about that, but I just wanted to cover the whole spectrum of the information that I wanted to share today. So I guess the first place to start would be with a microphone. I'm using a condenser microphone, but any microphone would work fine. Condensers actually are much better for vocals than a dynamic mic, but it's a matter of preference. Anyways, you start with a decent microphone and make sure that you're in a decent sounding room. Even in this room, I've had good success maybe with the microphone like this, and I might spin it like this, and the reflective surfaces give off some bad frequencies, and it turns out to be not a very good recording. So you really have to test and make sure you're getting a good reflective surface behind it, and it's all the frequencies are kind of coming together to make the right balanced vocal track. It's a little bit of trial and error, but just trying different things. I actually sometimes have even just a floor mat. This is basically a shower floor mat, and sometimes I'll stick it back here to kind of absorb some of the reflection I'm getting from that back wall, and I've had success with that. And just a trial and error, that's about it. But make sure when you listen back that it sounds natural, not too hollow, not too dry. A real dry room, the high frequencies get sucked up, but the bass keeps coming back and forth, and it makes it real boomy and muddy. And so you got to make sure your track sounds real natural, and you hear the highs and the lows at a balanced with around the same volume level, I guess you would want to say. Now the next point is you got to make sure you have isolation. When you record a vocal, all you want is the vocal. You don't want anything else coming through there, especially the beat or the song, the track from your music. So what I suggest is isolation headphones. These are the EX29. I guess they cut back 29 decibels or whatever. But once you put these on your head, there's very little bleed from here to the microphone. Some people do not like them. They don't feel comfortable with them. They feel they're too enclosed. So other headphones, like here's the AKG K240s, which are a good studio headphone, and they sit much more soft on your ear, and they're a little more natural. But there is a little bit of bleed coming from this particular headphone. More comfortable, and you can actually hear yourself sing a little better, but you're going to get a little bit of bleed into the microphone, and then it's going to be a problem mixing that. Okay, let's take the next step now. All right, the next step from the microphone is you're going to go into a decent preamp, and then from the preamp you're going to come into your DAW. So now I've had people send me mixes where the three singers will get together and the main singer will sing the verse, and during the chorus the singers will be on the sides of them and they'll make one track for the vocals, and that is extremely hard to mix. So it's very important when you're setting up for a vocal session, if you have 4 singers, you make 4 tracks. Each individual take will be on their own track. In other words, we'll have the lead vocalist will sing the main verses or whatever, and anybody who does any other adding on harmony or shouts or screams or whatever they are, they'll be on their own individual track. Then when you come to mix that, you're going to be able to put different EQ on it, you're going to be able to pan it, you're going to be able to shape it however you want, and it's going to be much easier to deal with. So let's take a look on the computer at a mix that we did, and I'll show you some examples of that. Okay, now we have set up our vocals on each individual track. We've had extreme isolation so that the beat or your soundtrack is not coming through on the vocals, and we put them all on their individual track. It's time to mix them. Now, you can see here, this is a song I do with my friend Larry, and it's, you can see here we got vocal 1, vocal 2, vocal 3, vocal 4, a vocal sub, and a vocal up. So there's about 6 different vocal tracks going on here. I'll play a little bit of it and we can discuss it a little bit.
Go get it, I got to a bag, then made it out.
Okay, the first thing I want to say is you cannot hear at all the beat playing. It's not bleeding in through the headphones, so it's that way it's easier to mix this vocal. It's just the vocal we're mixing, not any of the beat. We'll mix the beat on its own. So the main vocal is on this track, and then we have some double ups on this track and this track. So if you listen very closely.
Go get it, I got to a bag, then made it out.
So you hear that when it says made it out, these are pumping out a stereo image. So here we got vocal 3, it's panned hard left, and vocal 4 we got panned hard right. So we'll just solo those two and we'll play that, made it out.
Made it out.
So the vocal on made it out is lower than the main vocal, and it's panned left and right. But together, when we have them played, they sound very thick and fat.
Made it out. Depression was shitty and I was so sad I played it out. I am so grateful for life, more than maintaining now. Gaining now.
Okay, there we have the sub coming into play.
Gaining now.
That's the track number 26.
Gaining now. Understanding the lessons in all of my stripes. See all the blessings received from my guides. I paint them now. Okay,
so there you go. That's a little bit of a good example of having each track and being able to mix and work with each track individually. Let me show you another example of this with more of a singing track. So this is a song I did with my country band back in the day. It's called Ghost Riders in the Sky. You can see here we got the main vocal is on vocal 1, and then we have a number of harmonies going on here all the way down through track 27. So the main vocal is here on track 16. So we got 11 different vocal tracks, and some of them don't have much information on them, but they are on their individual track. So here we'll start with the main vocal. Here it is. It's the main vocal, and it's very little reverb, and it's panned right. You can see it's panned right up the middle. Okay, here it is.
And their hot breath he could feel. A bolt of fear went through him as they thundered through the sky. He saw the riders coming hard, and he heard their mournful cry. Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh.
So you can see here that it sounds very clean. You can't hear the music playing, so we had extreme isolation. Also, there's a lot of headroom, and it's real clean. You got to make sure we don't have any clipping. If the waveform goes up past 0 dB, it's going to clip and sound horrible. I like to go on the smaller side than getting too close to the edge side. Okay, now, so then we got the next set of harmonies. They're going to come in a little bit softer, but and a touch of reverb to give them a little depth. Let's hear those.
Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh.
Okay, so here we see that this vocal harmony 1 left panned hard to the left, vocal harmony 1 right panned hard to the right. And every one of these will be basically the same, all these harmonies. But you can see as we get further down that these are going to start to be a little more hard reverb to give them a little sense of space. Let's hear. This is number 3, left and right.
Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh.
Okay, so you can hear that that one's got a little more reverb for space, and the volume is a little bit lower. Here we're gonna these ones I think are gonna be even a little more deeper in with reverb.
Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh.
More heavy reverb, and the volume is a little bit down. So now let's go down, and we're going to solo all of these to give us a sense of how we were able to work with them in using their volume and using their panning left and right in the stereo image, and using their reverb for depth. And here's what we got from all those vocals after we've done that. And we were able to do this because they were each on their individual track. So here it is.
A mournful cry. Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh.
So you can hear there that the main vocal is the loudest and with the least amount of reverb. Like on a stage, the singer is in front and right in the middle. And then you have different background singers on the left of him and on the right of him and a little further back.
A mournful cry.
Here's with the music.
Yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-oh.
Okay, so there you go. Recapping, just make sure that each track is recorded. Each bit of information is on its own track, recorded with extreme isolation from any other track that is its neighbor, and that way you can mix and massage and EQ each track individually and put them in the stereo field and with reverbs and different effects to give them some kind of time and space also. All right, we will talk to you later.